At least you get to sit and then move to side of the goal. Yeah.
See if you're paying attention.
Of some of those bubble guys we've talked about, who jumped out to you tonight?
I like Myers. Yeah, I thought he was really good tonight. In a lot of different areas, strong in the puck offensively, especially.
Was that closer to kind of what you saw out of him that 5-game stretch from last year?
Yeah, I think he's skating better the last week. Some of it's training, getting up to pace, the unknown, but I think he's been getting better and better, and he's been more impactful in the games that we played here recently.
How do you feel about your fourth line? The set like Bleed and
I like Bleed tonight. Physical player, knows exactly what he is, plays to his identity, loud player. I think he finished every check, hard hits too. Like he plays hard. There's a simplicity to his game, but he plays hard.
Is that as close to, I guess, a perfect preseason game as you want to see at the end of this year? Tight.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought we got better as the game went on a little bit. Like it was, there were some things defensively I think that we got to clean up, and I felt like we were pacing the game down a little bit in the first part of the game. But as we kind of got going, especially in the third period, we started to play a little bit more our style. So pretty happy with the finishing of it. But there's some things even just offensively, like making it tougher on teams. For me, in the first two periods especially, we wish shoot the puck more. It's part of the rhythm of our game. When we get it low to high, or we have opportunities to shoot, we have to take them, retrieve them, repeat, and then eventually we'll break teams down. I didn't think we did that consistently enough tonight, but I was pretty happy with the game. It's still preseason, we still got another week to go, but I think it's good reminders for our guys as they see the success we had in the third period and why.
In addition to nailing down the roster, what can you hope to accomplish in the next week before the first game to gear up for the grind?
It'll be, we talked about the third period in Dallas, how the intensity got cranked up, and so did we. Like our game kind of got better when it went like that. Same thing tonight, I thought. Those are reminders. I think it's good to experience them. Like, the way we need to move the puck, our D got to be involved, the shooting mentality picks up in the third period, we have success. So all those little things that kind of go into our identity, we have to remind our guys of that, because I think unintentionally, I think there's still a little bit of like summer hockey, thinking it might be easier than what it is. So getting in those hard checking, like they checked really hard tonight. Like they're a defensive minded team first, and so there's a little less space to move. Guys are on you quicker. We have to experience it in order to get better at it. So we'll try to duplicate that in practice for a couple days, and we're giving them 2 days off to get reset mentally, and they know what to expect when they come back for the 2 days of practice before we take one more off in practice, one more day before the opener. So we laid it out for them. They know what's coming. We'll have one real heavy work day in there yet, 5-on-5, to try and keep that intensity where we need it to be and keep pushing it even higher.
How did you feel about the Rodriguez Newhook Nichushkin line?
I didn't mind him. Yeah. I thought Nui skated real well. I thought Gal skated real well. Rodriguez made a couple nice plays. They didn't manage the puck as well as I would like to, like for them as a group. Like Rodriguez had a couple turnovers that went the other way. It's part of making it tough on other teams, like from a defending style. They didn't get to the net enough, but they did some good things.
How did tonight influence reassignment decisions, especially with respect to players like Voltsev and Mowers who didn't play, and can we expect those to happen in the next day?
I would say Sunday's the final day, I think, to cut down your roster. I don't know if I'd expect them before then. That'll be a Joe and Chris decision. It's all, we keep taking extra looks at guys because we think we know what some guys can bring us, and still kind of hoping and watching some other guys to see if they can take another step. So we'll discuss again. We've been discussing it all along as a coaching staff, management team, and then we'll decide on what the best approach is for our opening day roster. But I wouldn't expect it too much to happen before Sunday, likely Saturday, Sunday.
So
I know Georgiev plays a little bit of a different style of goalie than Kemper did. Do you feel like the defense has had to make more adjustments to his type of game?
No, I think it'll be more the other way around. You know, I think the one thing with a goalie is, in my opinion, is when he learns your structure and he learns where possible breakdowns might come from, then the scoring chances against are really predictable, right? And that's what we're trying to, if we're gonna have any scoring chances at all, we wanna know against, we wanna know what, we want our goalie to know where they're coming from and where they may come from. And as he gets used to the way we play our rush coverage, how we defend in zone, if there's a breakdown coming from a certain play, then it becomes more predictable for him, so he's able to make the saves. I think he's still learning that. I think we probably focus on that a little bit more with the goaltender, watching our video, and then more than making our whole team adjust to him.
Coach, you've used the word loud to describe Anton Bleed's game a couple times.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Can you just elaborate a little bit more about what it is that you like about what he brings every night?
Well, I think he's a good checker, real solid checker, doesn't make any mistakes in the structure of the game, but he's hard to play against in all three zones. I mean, he's hard on the forecheck, he's gonna finish you, he isn't going in there to push you, bump you, he's going in there to finish you and try to win a puck battle. He's hard and heavy in those battles. It's difficult. I mean, like, if there's guys that probably are playing a little bit too nice. I mean, if you're playing a fourth line role for us, it's gotta be hard working, relentless, physical, and then you gotta be able to bring someone else and he's gonna get on the penalty kill too.
So when you say loud, you don't necessarily mean vocal, just.
No, I mean loud play, like
Yeah,
physical play, hard,
Noticeable.
yeah. Like when he angles a guy in all three zones and the guy's carrying the puck or he moves it, he's finishing you hard, you know, that's an impactful player.
Last one, please.
Maltev hasn't played the last couple games and hasn't practiced. Is he healthy?
He's going to get a visa.
Oh,
He is healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Last one, Brent.
And then JT Comfer, we know that he was gone on a couple days of maintenance and then skated today with the red
Yeah.
no contact. Is there any update on him?
We expect him to be ready, full practice when we come back out of these 2 days. He'll probably skate one of these 2 days because he's had a few days of like rehab and treatment.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Right.
Thanks, Jared.
That's all.